And here is the Writer's Almanac for Monday. It's the 21st of May, 2018. It's the birthday of Alexander Pope, London, 1688. Catholic family, and there was a wave of anti-Catholic sentiment in England at the time, so he was not allowed to attend public school. His aunt taught him to read, a priest taught him Latin and Greek, and he fell in love with the works of Homer when he was only 8. He developed tuberculosis, which affected his bones and stunted his growth. He was a hunchback, about 4 foot 6 inches tall. Not many of his poems are read today, but he's very often quoted. It was Alexander Pope who said, "To err is human, to forgive divine, and fools rush in where angels fear to tread." Pope said, "A little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the Pierian spring." And it was Alexander Pope who said, "Be not the first by whom the new are tried, nor yet the last to lay the old aside." And it's the birthday of the poet Robert Creeley, born Arlington, Massachusetts, 1926. He was 2 years old, riding in the car with his father when a piece of coal hit the car, shattered the windshield. A piece of glass went in the boy's eye, which then had to be removed. His mother moved the family to a farm in rural Massachusetts. Creeley said, "Growing up with 5 women in the house, it was like growing up in a forest attended by wolves." Went to Harvard, then dropped out. He wanted to be a writer, but he spent a few years drinking too much, getting in fights. After the birth of his son, he moved the family to a chicken farm in New Hampshire. And Creeley said, "I learned more about poetry as an actual activity from raising chickens than I did from any professor." Robert Creeley published more than 60 books before his death in 2005. The poet Charles Olson was a great influence on him. Creeley said, "Olson taught me how to write, not how to write poems that he wrote, but how to write poems that I write," a very curious and specific difference. 1881, on this day, Clara Barton founded the American Red Cross. She was a shy young woman with a stutter. She began teaching 1839, age of 18, overcame her shyness. And early on, Clara Barton said, "I may sometimes be willing to teach for nothing, but if paid at all, I shall never do a man's work for less than a man's pay." Took a job in 1854 at the U.S. Patent Office in Washington, worked hard, and indeed, within a year was making a salary equal to that of the men in the office. By 1861, war was breaking out, and when the Battle of Bull Run took place, not so far from Washington, a major defeat for the Union, Clara Barton read reports of the battle and realized that the Army had not seriously considered or provided for wounded soldiers, so she began to ride along in ambulances. And afterward, after the war, traveling to Geneva, she learned about the International Red Cross and founded the American Red Cross on this day in 1881. Here's a poem for today, some lines from Alexander Pope's An Essay on Man. "All are but parts of one stupendous whole, whose body nature is, and God the soul, that changed through all, and yet in all the same, great in the earth as in the ethereal frame, warms in the sun, refreshes in the breeze, glows in the stars, and blossoms in the trees, lives through all life, extends through all extent, spreads undivided, operates unspent, breathes in our soul, informs our mortal part, as full as perfect in a hair as heart, as full as perfect in vile man that mourns, as the rapt seraphim that sings and burns. To him no high, no low, no great, no small. He fills, he bounds, connects, and equals all. All nature is but art, unknown to thee, all chance, direction, which thou canst not see, all discord, harmony, not understood, all partial evil, universal good. Wrote Alexander Pope in An Essay on Man. That's the Writer's Almanac. Produced by Kathy Roach, written by Holly Vanderhaar. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.